Well, I'm out of the car and back in my office. It's Wednesday, and I'm getting ready. Constance and I are both getting ready because a little later on this afternoon we're going to have a few friends over uh, locally and do a little class in the backyard because we're not together enough inside yet. Too many boxes and things unpacked. But we thought we'd invite a few of our local Sacramento friends over for a little class this afternoon, early this evening, and we'll do it in the backyard while it's still sort of uh, warm and pleasant. And uh, it's very informal. It won't be like a Monday night class or anything that much, and it'll be very small. But we got to do something. Have to. We're getting very, very restless because we haven't been able to do anything very much since we moved, and it'll be a little something to start with. Uh, and today I was going to do. I was preparing to do a little something Enochian wise, Enochian magic wise. And Enochian is a big subject, and of course, we're not going to be able to do very much, but there's a few things we can participate in. And most of my Enochian furniture and everything is being stored just down the street with somebody who's got a little more room than I do. And so I was throwing together uh, uh, things for handouts, and I made my own little holy table here just out of cardboard and got everything else out. And I had a few little discs left over, so I made a table of Nalvage. There's a table of Nalvage, and if I can find my sigillum. I dropped my sigillum. And I got it, well, it's around here someplace. And everybody gets little, here we go. Do you wonder what forces we could unleash? There's a little, just something you get over at, Michael's and just glue stuff on. You can make all sorts of things out of pretty much nothing. And it got me thinking about all of this D material. And of course, I've written a few books on Enochian magic. And it's fascinating, it's elegant, it's powerful, and it actually works at inducing a state of consciousness where you get your own personal visions. And it was occurring to me that magic isn't really something that you follow like a recipe. Well, it isn't. It isn't. It isn't. Okay, an average cook follows a recipe as best they can, but master chefs understand the recipe and then create from there. And the thing is, you don't become a master chef without having a whole bunch of recipes in your head. Uh, and the other day, I received from the publisher a beautiful book that I'll share with you in a day or so. Uh, I wrote the introduction to, or the foreword to, and so did our dear friend and the brilliant Stephen Skinner wrote an introduction too. And I got a kick out of it because my opening words were, magic is an art, okay? And Stephen's opening words are something to the effect of, Magic is a science; it's not an art. and and I totally agree with him on everything he said. Uh, but it's funny that seemingly in magic, two seemingly opposite ideas can be simultaneously true. It certainly is in mystical sciences such as Kabbalah or Eastern mysticism. And so I prepared a few notes, keeping that in mind. I spit it out this morning, and I'd like to share that with you. You'll often hear me say, "It's all in your head. You just have no idea how big your head is." It's sort of a brash and outrageous statement, but I believe it's profoundly true. At least I believe it is ultimately true. The quote has caused a great deal of misunderstanding, however, especially among my fellow magicians, who mistakenly choose to interpret my words as suggesting that I don't believe in the objectivity of gods and angels and spirits and demons. Please don't misunderstand me. I consider gods and angels and spirits and demons to be as real as anything else in objective reality. If we disagree about anything, it's not about the reality of gods and spirits, it's about the reality of objective reality. Now, I credit the quote to Rabbi Lamed Ben Clifford. It's all in your head, you just have no idea how big your head is. Okay, I credit the quote to Rabbi Lamed Ben Clifford, who happens to be someone I created in my own head to write a couple of books that have been published and distributed in what many of us temporarily agree is objective reality. Now, if you're among the lucky few who've read those books, you've done so as a temporary fellow citizen of our shared reality. And you've inserted those words, all of those words, and the information these books contain, you've inserted them inside your head, where Rabbi Lamed Ben Clifford and his wisdom then become real and alive to you inside your head, for absolutely everything else in the universe, where everything that is, everything that was, and everything that ever can be known inside you exists. It's all in your head. You just have no idea how big your head is. Now that's a big responsibility. And obviously most people refuse to accept such an awesome burden. But magicians are at least supposed to try. Now, we have at our fingertips centuries worth of magical books and grimoires and entire systems like Solomonic magic and Goetian Kabbalah-based magic and Enochian magic, all with pantheons of gods and angels and spirits and demons, along with what appears to be recipes and instructions to call up and deal with all of these entities as if they were objective personages. Obviously, whoever wrote these grimoires and developed these systems had heads in which all of this came out of. And when you read and study this material, you have a head that all this goes into. And that's where it becomes real. And no matter how faithfully you try to adhere to the written recipe, no matter how scrupulously you try to follow the directions, it will still only be all in your head. It's easy to be awed by the elegance and complexity of a system like John Dee's Enochian magic. The written material we study is breathtaking in its scope and very inspiring, especially when things start to click as we absorb the information. But we must always keep in mind that the Dee material was a snapshot of Dee's head. A snapshot of how Dee came to terms with the magic and how Dee had to approach the reality. Now that it's in your head, you will have to make the magic your own. The average cook follows the recipe as best they can. Master chefs understand the recipe and create from there. The study of magical texts and grimoires of other magicians can ultimately never be more than suggestive, because it's all in your head. You just have no idea how big your head is. So I know that's a little short for this morning, but I want to get ready for tonight's little get-together. Until tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will. It's all in your head. You just have no idea how big your head is.